Imagine sailing across a vast and dangerous ocean, leaving everything behind, chasing the promise of wealth and a new life. But when you arrive, instead of gold and glory, you find disease, hunger, and a struggle just to survive. This is the dramatic story of Jamestown, the first permanent English settlement in North America, founded in 1607. In 1606, King James I of England granted a charter to the Virginia Company of London. Their mission was simple: travel to the New World, establish a colony, and search for riches that could rival Spain's treasures from the Americas. In December of that year, 3 ships, the Susan Constant, the Godspeed, and the Discovery, set sail across the Atlantic carrying about 104 settlers. After more than 4 months at sea, they reached the coast of present-day Virginia in May 1607. Soon after landing, they chose a swampy peninsula along a river they named the James River, in honor of their king. Here they built a small wooden fort and called their settlement Jamestown. But Jamestown quickly became a nightmare for the settlers. The location was full of mosquitoes, the water was often contaminated, and food was scarce. Many of the colonists were gentlemen who had little experience with farming or survival in the wilderness. Within months, disease and starvation began to spread. By the end of the first year, more than half the settlers had died. Leadership conflicts made things even worse. However, one man eventually stepped forward to impose discipline: Captain John Smith. John Smith believed survival required hard work. He famously declared, "He that will not work shall not eat." Under his leadership, colonists were forced to farm, gather food, and build stronger defenses. Smith also attempted to build relationships with the powerful local Native American Confederacy led by Chief Powhatan. Trade with Powhatan's people helped the colonists obtain much-needed corn and supplies, allowing Jamestown to survive its early years. Despite these efforts, Jamestown nearly collapsed in the winter of 1609 to 1610, a period known as the Starving Time. Food ran out completely. Historians estimate that only about 60 of the 500 settlers survived that brutal winter. Some colonists were even driven to desperate acts just to stay alive. When supply ships finally arrived in 1610, the remaining settlers were ready to abandon Jamestown, but new leadership forced them to stay and rebuild the colony. Jamestown's fortunes began to change thanks to a new crop: tobacco. John Rolfe successfully cultivated a variety of tobacco that Europeans loved. Soon, tobacco became Virginia's most valuable export, transforming Jamestown into a profitable colony. This economic success ensured that the settlement would survive and grow. Jamestown was far from perfect. The colony struggled with disease, conflict with Native Americans, and the introduction of slavery in 1619. Yet it marked a turning point in history. Jamestown became the first permanent English settlement in North America, paving the way for future colonies and eventually the creation of the United States. What began as a desperate gamble for wealth turned into the foundation of English America. Against disease, starvation, and conflict, Jamestown survived, and its legacy still shapes history today. If you enjoyed this story of early American history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more journeys into the past.